Hello, parents and families. This is Mr. Ontiveros, licensed marriage and family therapist, here to talk to you a little bit about finding gratitude in the midst of loss. We've all experienced, or we're currently experiencing, some type of loss during this stay at home, safer at home order. And these losses vary and they look different for everybody. We have people who have lost loved ones. We have people who have experienced some type of financial loss, others who have lost that physical connectedness to loved ones and family members, especially first responders and healthcare workers. We have those who have experienced loss of their daily routine and schedule. For kids, uh, a lot of kids have experienced a sense of loss of not being able to go to school, of not being amongst their teachers and staff and their friends. We have others who have just in general felt a loss of not having control of the situation that we currently find ourselves in. And so all of these losses, I mean, they all vary, and they it's real. I mean, we're all feeling it, and they're all valid. And one of the things we need to acknowledge is that these losses are here, and and we need to grieve through these losses in order to be able to cope with what we're going through. One of the ways to start the process of grieving these losses is acknowledging that these losses are here. Acknowledging that my loss is unique and individual to me, and what might seem small to me might seem big to somebody else. And so one of the things I need to do is not minimize my loss, and at the same time not compare my loss to others, because it's unique to my own well-being and my current circumstance, and that includes my family members. My kids, if they're experiencing losses, it's going to be unique to them, um, just the same as my losses are unique to myself. And so we want to acknowledge that these losses are here, and that we're currently experiencing them. The next thing we want to do is we want to validate those feelings associated with these losses. It's okay to feel sadness. It's okay to feel anger. It's okay to feel frustration behind these losses. So we want to validate those. We want to validate the fact that our kids may be irritable, that they may be feeling angsty or anxious um, because they want to be out, they want to be at school, they want to participate in activities, and so we want to validate those feelings. We want to validate those seniors who are not going to be able to participate in traditional end of the year celebrations because of the situation that we find ourselves in. So we want to validate them as well. We want to validate all the feelings associated to these losses, because that's going to help us connect more to these losses, um, and help us through the process of grieving through it. The last thing we want to do is find ways to to show gratitude and to find gratitude in the midst of these losses. There's a saying that when you're trying to add more to your plate, which is not the probably not the circumstance we find ourselves in right now, but when you're living a busy life and you want to add something else, there's a saying that goes that something's got to give, meaning that in order to add something else to your plate, you need to let go of something, or um, take away something from your plate. Well, we find ourselves in the quite opposite situation right now, where out of our control, things have been removed from our plate, from us. And in doing so, it's left us in a bind of, well, I don't have control of the situation. But one thing that we do have control over is what we decide to put in after the fact. And I think one of the most important things we can do in this moment is find ways to put in gratitude. There's studies that show that those who put in practice showing gratitude um, have a higher rate of psychological well-being and positive health. And I think that's one of the most important things that we can do during this time, is finding ways that I can show gratitude. And one of the things that I can do is start asking, well, what if I find daily things to be grateful for? What if I um, find ways to show appreciation to my loved ones? What if I extend an act of gratitude to a healthcare uh, worker? What if I choose to complain less and appreciate more? Perhaps appreciate the little things, perhaps appreciate the gift of time, perhaps appreciate the small things that maybe I took for granted. The most basic essential things like food. Perhaps appreciating the laughs, the hugs, the noise all over the house with the kids, and perhaps appreciate that this is temporary, that this is a roadblock, and it's not a forever moment. So with gratitude comes choice. We all have a choice as to what we're going to put in as a result of our losses. And I think if we decide and we make an effort to put in as much gratitude as we can and finding ways to be thankful for, even in these trying times, I think it's going to help us. It's going to help us feel better, cope with these losses, and help us through the process of grieving. So the question is, can I grieve and choose to find gratitude in the midst of loss at the same time? And the answer is yes. And in this time that we're in right now, it's probably more important that we make an intentional effort in doing so. Well, parents and families, I hope this helps. Remember, we're in this together. Hang in there.